Psychic Fangs removes Blastoise from the field of play. The opponent sold out, invested both Protect Shields to force alignment. I'm going to do the exact opposite and save 2 shields to the Firebird of Death. Drapion enters the arena. Talonflame going to put up that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Aqua Tail. We look to overfarm by 1, fire off the Flame Charge. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catching onto Typhlosion, but that catch is not changing this opponent's fate. Talonflame still with that shield type. I'm going to be investing it here. Could Incinerate farm down, could double fly. Regardless of what I do, we all know how this one's going to end. The first fly removes Typhlosion from the field of play. Drapion re-enters the arena, but it's going to be straight in and straight out. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the second team that I was actually able to climb ELO with on the Go Battle weekend. This is my lowest ELO for the entire weekend. I actually ran a team previous to this. I went on a massive 4-11 run and got completely destroyed. Usually I'm getting pissed off with this game. I revert to the team we showcased the other day, the No Bonfire Head team of Chestnut, Drapion and Typhlosion. But as I've already showcased that team, I thought rather than 2-shield and Typhlosion and looking to cook everything to a crisp, we're going to mix it up and use the Shadow Firebird of Death. The team functions kind of an ABB style strategy. Cradily is going to be in the lead as an anti-electric Blastoise operating on the save switch, looking to bait out any DEGENERATE or Morpeko. We're going to save the shields for Talonflame and hopefully just fast move, beat everything down or cook everything to a crisp, nice and simple. With all that being said, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we'll lead Cradily into Unova Stunfisk, aka the Pancake. When I was thinking of electric types, how the heck did I forget about this bloody annoying Pancake? The opponent save switch into Furret. I don't really have any great response. We're going to fire off the Rock Tomb and then going to attempt the Trailblaze catch onto Talonflame. Please tell me the opponent went for the Trailblaze. Who the heck's going to Swift the Rock type? Oof, that is a very nice double resisted catch, if I do say so myself. Whilst the Trailblaze itself didn't do much damage, of course it comes with a 100% chance to vamp up the opponent's attack. So I tank that Swift, the opponent would potentially be able to Sucker Punch fire me down. So I match Protect Shields, fire off 1 Incinerate and the Flame Charge, removing Furret from the field of play. The opponent sends Stunfisk back into the arena, the boosted Flame Charge, massive damage, over half the health, and the opponent pivots out into Dragonite. I save Talonflame, send Cradily back into the arena, the opponent reluctant to debuff himself, throwing the superpower, allowing me to reach the Rock Tomb, forcing the opponent all shields down. The opponent throws at very nice timing, just receiving the energy for the next Rock Tomb. A resisted Thunder Punch removes me from the field of play, but Blastoise can come into the arena and do what Big Man Blastoise does best, absorb hit after hit. The opponent throws the Thunder Punch simply does not cut it. Blastoise reaches the Hydro Cannon and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's for that opponent. Heading into the next battle. Oh, hello Azumarill, you stupid bulky blue bunny. Nice to see you nice. But what isn't nice to see is a Hypno save switch. Most Hypno this season are going to have Ice Punch plus Thunder Punch, meaning it's got the perfect coverage for all 3 of my Pokemon. Cradily being the bulkiest team member, more than content to tank an Ice Punch, fire off the Rock Tomb, and then going to try my luck catching an Ice Punch onto Big Man Blastoise. Unfortunately for me, the catch attempt's unsuccessful, but a -1 Thunder Punch doesn't do too much damage. The counts for Hypno now Confusion generates more energy. It's 3-2-3, so with that in mind, I'm going to throw out suboptimal timing, throw the Hydro Cannon before the next Thunder Punch is reached. Hydro Cannon removes Hypno from the field of play. Azumarill re-enters the arena, but Blastoise still not done. Gonna fire off the Skull Bash, to my surprise, forcing the first Protect Shield of the game. Despite Blastoise buffing up his own, already bulky defense, a play rough still going to be lethal, and that's definitely better for me, rather than conceding a bubble farm down. Cradily re-enters the arena, 4 Acids, and the Grass Knot for optimal fast move time. If you're newer to the game, it's nice and simple, using a 2-turn move into a 3-turn move. You just want to throw one quick move, 4 or 7. The opponent double shield and Azumarill has kind of put me in an awkward spot here. Cradily is really low, but I don't really want Talonflame to be aligned against such a healthy Azumarill. So with that in mind, invest the protection, look to fire off the Grass Knot. The opponent catch onto Thickersby, but as long as they don't farm up to the Hyper Beam, which they do not, this game is over. A single resisted Scorching Sands that's simply not going to cut it. Talonflame going to get the full Incinerate farm down, leaving doubled up on flies. Azumarill might be out of fly range, but I'm going to give them that buy one get one free combo. The first one puts them into the red health range, and the second one is going to be all she wrote and get that stupid Azumarill off my screen. Heading into the next battle. See Dusclops in the lead position. As I mentioned in the intro, we are running somewhat of an ABB team where we're double weak to electrics. With that in mind, I try my luck, catch a nice punch onto Big Man Blastoise. And to be honest, another thing this team struggles with is the Steel Penguin. It's advantageous into all 3 of my Pokemon, although Talonflame in the 2 shield's pretty good as you can just fully Incinerate farm it down, but nice to bait this out regardless. Despite this being a pretty awful matchup where Blastoise can only hit for resisted damage, we can get this Penguin very, very low, and the opponent actually chooses to invest to Protect Shield, and they're still forced to dump energy. This actually puts me in a nice spot. I remember playing this battle and I played it very poorly. So the intention here is to one shield, fully incinerate farm down and leave a very nice energy lead. The opponent actually give up switch and send out Cradily. Here I think I should fly, because fly would do more than the flame charge and it's cheaper too. The only reason the flame charge if you intend to stay in, which I do not. Regardless, we are able to outpace the Rock Tomb, debuffing them before they debuff me. I'm now in such an awkward spot, to be honest. I've got two choices. I can knock out this Cradily by firing off a Grass Knot or even a Rock Tomb. But if I do that, I'm just going to concede farm. So what I do is throw the Rock Tomb, undercharge, hoping the opponent dumps their energy. They smartly bank the charge move. And this is going to get hella dicey. As I got the Rock Tomb banked, I can never ever shield a move from Dusclops unless I'm doubled up. So hopefully I can tank this Shadow Punch, throw one Incinerate and the Fly. Fly knocks out and we should be home and dry. However, does that actually work out? That's the theory, but in practice, it doesn't quite cut it. However, I am now receiving the energy for the next charge move. And now I've got to be patient. If I see Cradily enter the arena, I knock out instantly. If I see the Steel Penguin enter the arena, we've got to Incinerate farm down. The opponent sends out the Penguin. We're able to farm down, leaving with the charge move. We're able to win charge attack priority. Oof, that was sweaty. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle. We lead Shadow Cradily into Alolan Ninetales. If they're on Charm, favourable for Cradily. If they're on Powder Snow, we just get outpaced. We may as well pivot out as we've got two better responses in the back. The opponent Save Switch, interfere it. And this isn't actually the worst matchup for Big Man Blastoise. Whilst they do have access to Trailblaze, we do have the pace and advantage. This is a matchup I can flip. And of course, I'd love Talonflame aligned against that Ninetales. We shoot up the Trailblaze, throw one roller and the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon forces my opponent's first protection, and Big Man Blastoise is going to be spamming that next one as soon as I get it, looking to either take back switch or force the opponent all shields down. Whilst I certainly didn't fancy that Cradily matchup in the two shield scenario, the opponent's now shieldless, and this just sets up a farm down for Cradily, getting closer and closer to that Rock Tomb that's going to land for massive super effective damage. We pivot out into Talonflame, and we see the Battle of Fire flying types. The opponent sends out Charizard. On the off chance they Blast Burn, which they do, we're just going to invest that Protect Shield. We're well outside of Weather Ball range. So I can just undertap this Fly. The opponent's going to need to throw two charge moves to knock out Talonflame. At that point, they're just going to be energy dry, and Cradily will reach the Rock Tomb. The opponent overfarm as much as they physically can, end up playing to CMP tile. They do not win. Flame Charge knocks them out, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Goodra in the lead position. This is definitely where the team wants to see it. Goodra likely has Aqua Tail plus Thunder Punch. Some run Draco Meteor. But regardless, that's the perfect coverage for my backline. The opponent aggressively sends out Fortress, and here comes the Firebird of Death. Talonflame going to be going for the one shield, full Incinerate farm down. We can win charge attack priority against Goodra, so my opponent likely doesn't throw. And this is actually going to allow me to reach back-to-back charge moves. I'm just going to be super obnoxious and go all in on Talonflame and kind of have two healthy Pokemon versus whatever that third is. Talonflame fires off the next Flame Charge. Flame Charge forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and it's actually a charge attack priority, which means they have dumped their energy. The opponent likely pivots out, so we're going to send out Blastoise to get a running start. And that is definitely a very good decision. If I would have sent out Cradily, I would have got a one-turn switch and got Trailblaze to the face. But like this, Blastoise able to outpace to the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon, a big fat one-hit KO on the very glassy Sizzle. Goodra fires off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch knocks me out. We acid farm down and take that game. That was actually against a friend of the channel too. Shout out Peter. Speaking of friends of the channel, this is actually against a local of mine and also a friend of the channel, Ripley. After this, I was like, why the heck are you on Water Gun? And they actually told me it's advantageous into some of the toxic teams. It's better into stuff like Marowak, Wigglytuff, Bastion, etc. So I've got plenty of time for that. Curiosity did get the better of me. I actually checked PvP simulations. Even running Rollout, you actually beat Bastion on the one shield because you got such a heavy pace and advantage. And Ripley, I am so sorry. Poor old Venusaur. Made the catch to the Rock Tomb, got cooked to an absolute crisp, and now I'm in full degen mode. I'm going to invest the protection and just spam out flame charges, knowing the likely third is going to be Charizard, and Charizard's going to have such a sad day when it sees my Blastoise. Unfortunately for Ripley, sometimes in the Go Battle League, you're just going to come against a team you literally cannot beat. This one is completely RPS for the win. Blastoise very quickly rollouts down Charizard, and we take that game. You'll get me next time, buddy. In the next battle, we see Gastron in the lead position. The opponent save switches into Shadow Gyarados. I bank some energy, and then make the sneak and the catch onto Blastoise. Gyarados is probably my favourite Pokemon from Season 24's move update, but this is going to be one of the drawbacks. It is so bloody glassy that rollouts have very quickly put them into resisted Hydro Cannon range. Switch advantage isn't all that important to me, as Talonflame more than confident to Gastron, especially with shield advantage, and that's what I'm going to take. I'm going to send out Cradily, tank the Aqua Tail, get a massive acid farm down, leaving with well over a grass knot, meaning the opponent's kind of obliged to show their third or just get one shot. The opponent does exactly that, sending out Corsola. I'm going to fire off the Rock Tomb, debuff them, bank a charge move for the end game, and then send Talonflame into the arena. The opponent reset that debuff and send out Gastrodon. The opponent farm up to what could be a Water Pulse. Highly unlikely they full send it, but that is my lose con. Tanking a Water Pulse to the face. This can only be a Body Slam. And here, of course, one and throw would be good time, but about 100 energy, so I should just under-tap this move, and then I'd actually receive some energy for that Incinerate, as opposed to just doing fast move pressure, and potentially that is going to mean that Talonflame is going to be unable to close the show. I think we're going to need DRE to get off this next fly. Unfortunately, we don't get DRE, but we have got a move banked on Cradily, and I have no doubt Corsola, you sir, might think you're thick, but Cradily about to remind you you're not thick enough, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Charjabug in the lead position. The opponent say no thank you, save switch into Furret. Last time we was able to catch the Trailblaze. Am I able to do that twice successfully? No. No, I am not. This Furret's now got like 1 bazillion energy. I believe they're now at 13 Sucker Punches. They can 2 and throw the next move, and at that point they're doubled up, which means I'm kind of obliged to under-tap this move and look to win charge attack priority. Potentially the opponent will take the extra and look to realign. It looks like that is what the opponent wants to do. I'm not actually going to match Protect Shields. We're going to save a shield advantage for either Pokemon. We can potentially Hydro Cannon that Charjabug or Rock Tomb it to the face. The opponent's fought super hard for switch advantage. However, Cradily is now going to get a massive farm down. The opponent actually gives up switch, sending out Charjabug. I over farm, fire off the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb won't quite be lethal. We can look to catch Nexus onto Big Man Blastoise and get a very nice running start too. I don't really understand why you'd invest both Protect Shields to realign your Pokemon and then give up Switch behind an energy and start exactly where we begun. Doesn't make too much sense to me. Furret, re-enters arena, fires off the Trailblaze, which I invest to Protect Shield, whatever's in the back. Clearly not a fan of Blastoise with energy, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Florges in the lead position. This is kind of like the Goodra we saw earlier. Nice to catch it in the lead, as most Florges are going to run Trailblaze plus Chilling Water, which is the perfect coverage for my backline. The opponent fire off the Chilling Water. We return fire with the Rock Tomb. You debuff me and I debuff you. We're then going to farm up and look to catch the next Chilling Water onto Big Man Blastoise. Chilling Water won't do much of anything, and even debuff, we should be able to roll out farm them down before the Trailblaze is reached. The opponent sends out Altaria, and this is very, very nice to bait out, as Talonflame not going to fancy the work. Sky Attack doesn't get the job done. Blastoise shows its bulk, reaches the Skull Bash, and Skull Bash lands for heavy neutral damage. I often hear people say IVs matter. In case you're wondering if my Blastoise has got good IVs, absolutely not. It's like an 11-10-9 or something. I just built it many years ago and I've never replaced it with a better one. Out comes Shadow Dust Noir, and I've already decided that this is going to be a fast move beatdown to the finish. There's not really any point in shielding. The opponent's got 2 shields. I'm just going to tap, 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 and try and fast move beat down everything. On the day I played these battles, I was getting tagged on like Twitter, Discord, Facebook, all over the shop. This one's actually against another friend of the channel, Miss Cat. Check her out on Twitch. If you like my stuff, you're going to like hers, because clearly she's the best impersonation of me, saving 2 shields for next season. I'm just kidding, buddy. GG's. In the next battle, we see Corsola in the lead position. Cradily going to strike first, firing off the Rock Tomb, debuffing Corsola's attack. Not that you really need to debuff this Pokemon. It hits like a wet noodle at the best of times. Cradily, much like Feraligatr we showcased yesterday, is more commonly seen in this normal variant of people opting for bulk. But do you know what the Shadow can do that a regular cannot? 2-shot Corsola with a Rock Tomb into Grass Knot. As soon as I remove Corsola from the field of play, we pivot out into Big Man Blastoise, and Wigglytuff remains on my screen, and the opponents even invest in Protect Shields. At this point, I should have realised this is definitely some absolute nonsense, toxic degenerate team. I'm thinking, let's 2-shield Talonflame. And I'm going to be very, very sad. Talonflame, up 2 Protect Shields. You know what it doesn't beat? Even up 2 Protect Shields, the stupid butt plug. Fuck my life. We're going to say GG's anyway. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Heading into the next battle. What the heck is this on my screen? Giraffe rig? Honestly, Go Battle Weekend is an absolute madness. People running all kinds of degenerate stuff, just trying to tap their phone and get wins as quickly as possible. This is one of them guess the moveset Pokemon. Is it Trailblaze or Thunderbolt as a second move? I imagine Thunderbolt. If they had Trailblaze, they probably would have thrown it there. We shrug off the Psychic Fangs, reach the Rock Tomb. The opponent completely set out for switch advantage. I'm just going to sack Blastoise. Thunderbolt, Trailblaze, you enjoy yourself. There's the Thunderbolt. Blastoise, able to shrug off the damage, but the opponent's still able to reach the departing Psychic Fangs. I'm going to do the exact opposite of this opponent. They sold out for lead, and I'm just going to 2-shield the Firebird. Please don't be Bastiodon. Out comes Drapion. Drapion going to force the first Protect Shield. Firing off the Aqua Tail, Talonflame, going to commit to good timing, one Incinerate, and the Flame Charge. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catching onto Typhlosion, but this is game over. The opponent can force my final Protect Shield, firing off the Thunder Punch. To be honest, I could just Incinerate Farm down. We could double up on flies. Whatever I choose to do, this one is only going to end one way, with Talonflame sweeping the entire team. The first fly removes Typhlosion from the field of play. Drapion re-enters the arena, but it's going to be straight in and straight out. And Talonflame will be carrying the team to victory. GG's for that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see an atrocious lead, and to be honest, we're kind of ABA weak to this thing. The opponent only settled for a Night Slash, which we can tank, but if they boost, they could probably just one-shield and farm down. Here I pause a turn, anticipating the opponent looking to throw one Bullet Punch and make the catch. Like this, we're able to force the first Protect Shield of the game. As they didn't boost, they're also forced to dump the Night Slash or catch out this matchup. The opponent opts for dumping the Night Slash. They still don't boost. I'm going to be temporarily switch locked, so I'm going to wait out my timer before sending out Talonflame. The opponent sends out Cradily. Here I'm just going to bank the charge move, send out my own Cradily, and hope Talonflame once again carries us home. To be honest, I could have just used both Protect Shields and looked to start boosting through with Talonflame. We're just going to bank the energy and send back out Cradily. Try and get some use out of it. It is going to be awful into that Scizor. We're actually going to be able to survive this move. I'm hoping that I reach one further Rock Tomb. However, it actually doesn't quite work out like that. The opponent gets the perfect acid farm down. We're just going to under-tap this move, as if I look to throw at good timing, the opponent will force my first Protect Shield. The opponent reluctant to go all in on such a low health Cradily, send out Fearow, and Talonflame is very quickly about to get out of hand. I fire off the Flame Charge, force the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent make the catch, back onto Scizor, transfer the Incinerate. Scizor got absolutely cooked. We leave with the Flame Charge, knocking out Fearow, and once again, that is yet another Talonflame sweep. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. This is definitely my favourite battle of the entire weekend. We see Cradily into Marowak. By no means the worst matchup for the opponent. They can cheese their way through this in the 2-shield. Most people Rock Tomb here, but trust me, trainer, I am not that guy. I am full send, and the question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Bang! There it is. At this point, when Tokus enters the arena, I should bank the Rock Tomb, make the pivot into Blastoise. So I kind of need this to deal with any potential electric type, like an absolute potato as they're celebrating with my big boom and wait to see the end game. This is hilarious. The opponent tried to catch a Hydro Cannon onto Blastoise. I see it coming in. Full send the Skull Bash. We've got such a huge energy lead. There is literally no point in looking to call the bait. But fuck it. This is a Hydro Cannon, right? Nope, the opponent returns their favour. They nuke me through 2 Protect Shields, and we're going to concede the match. What an absolute potato. Heading into the next battle. We're off to a good start. Let's see if I can manage to potato my way to yet another loss. Oranguru. What the heck is this thing doing on my screen? I'm going to fire off the Rock Tomb and then try and catch a Trailblaze onto Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. Well, so far this battle's going better than the last one. There's still plenty of time for me to potato my way through this matchup. We debuffed them, they raised their attacks, there's only a neutral brutal swing. Good time would be 3 Incinerate, which I certainly can't throw, so we're just going to fire off 1 and the Flame Charge. I recognise the opponent is very, very unlikely to shield. Out comes Big Man Blastoise. The opponent looks for the rollout farm down, unable to get it before the boosted flies reached, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. We're now up with a 2-0 shield advantage, and this time, do you know what? I might respect the Skull Bash. I bet this is a Hydro Cannon, but we will be respecting it. And good job I did, as that is indeed the Skull Bash. I'm then going to pause, ensuring the Skull Bash lands on its intended target. As they're buffed up, this might not quite be a one-hit KO, but the damage is already done. My 11 attack here comes in clutch, able to win charge attack priority, fire off the Hydro Cannon, removing their Blastoise from the field of play, and pivot back out into Cradily to To greet the returning DEGENERATE, the opponent says, "Nope, you've got me," and they concede the match. In the next battle, we see another Goodra in the lead position. This is exactly where the team wants to see it. The opponent fires off the Aqua Tail, then send out Scizor. I believe this might actually be the same team as previously in the video. So this might actually be Peter and the last one. Might have been some random, to be honest. I've got no idea, as I played these battles about 3 or 4 days ago and just about remember what I had for breakfast, let alone who I'm playing. As I say that, I think this one's actually Peter and the last one was definitely someone else, because he messaged me afterwards saying he should have safe switched Fortress, and I definitely agree, as Fortress is able to force a protection off Talonflame where Scizor gets cooked in just 2 singular quick moves. You can see it is indeed the same team, but regardless, whatever safe switch, this team is very advantageous to that team. If you're in double bug steal in the back and your opponent's got Talonflame, it's safe to say it is going to be curtains for you. Cradily being his very annoying self, able to double debuff this Fortress with no way of resetting it. We end up pivoting into Blastoise. I didn't actually try and catch, but able to catch regardless, roll out farm down and take that game. In the next battle, that is definitely a yikes lead, and something else we're pretty soft to. Cradily, not particularly good, nor is Blastoise. The opponent actually stay in, over farm, allow me to strike first, firing off the Hydro Cannon, that definitely works for me. The ape opts to bank all their energy and make a catch onto Cradily, and this is where Shadow Blastoise comes in clutch. You can see that 2 rollouts and a Hydro Cannon got them below half health. So that means that 2 further rollouts and the next Hydro Cannons are actually going to knock them out. The opponent reluctant to shield. They're already down 1 protection on Blastoise, putting in so much work. Holy cow, man. The opponent still doesn't throw energy. Blastoise reaches yet another Hydro Cannon, knocking out a Pokemon and forcing both Protect Shields in the mid-game matchup. The opponent's played this so strangely. They've gifted me both Protect Shields and gifted me the alignment I want. Not that I'm complaining. I just can't really get my head around why the opponent's played it like this. We tank the first Rage Fist, shield the next one. The opponent tries to make a catch onto Licky, yet far too thicky, and here comes Cradily. What season is this, man? I guess Licky has been buffed this season. Body Slam last season only did 50 damage. And now does 55, but it's still not quite as good as it once was in its heyday, where Body Slam used to do 60, being one of the best charge moves in the game. Shadow Cradily gonna have no problem cleaning up this matchup, removing Lickitung from the field of play. Annihilate re-enters the arena, switch timers up, we give the opponent that wham, bam, combo play, and Fly is going to be all she wrote. GG's that opponent. In the next battle, we found ourselves a problem, and his name's Empoleon. How do you deal with Empoleon if you see it in the lead? Excellent question, well presented. When I figure it out, I'll get back to you. I'm just kidding. Safe switch into Blastoise and hope the opponent stays in. There I kind of lagged. It looks like I paused. I definitely didn't. I was trying to throw the charge move, but it kind of is what it is. We end up giving the opponent a full free metal sound, but that's definitely the game just lagging me out, as if this matchup wasn't already bad enough. To be honest, I can't really complain about lag. Yes, we've had a few games that have kind of been glitchy, but as a whole this season it hasn't been too bad. The opponent sends out a Moongus. I already know the team. It's going to be Mark's team with Altaria in the back. And I already think I'm absolutely cooked. How the hell do I deal with that Altaria? A lot of content creators only show the battles they play well, win or lose. I always keep battles in that I think I played really poorly, and this is definitely one of them. Firstly, I think I should have banked this move, saved the energy on Talonflame, and secondly I could have just incinerated farm down, as foul play is straight 4s, so it was kind of pointless dumping that energy. But despite his playing like an absolute potato, potentially we've got a chance here. The opponent doesn't shield the Rock Tomb, and now if we reach a Rock Tomb against Altaria, Rock Tomb should force the Protect Shield, and potentially the combination of the Incinerates and the Fly would be lethal. We don't get off the Rock Tomb, and I'm glad I didn't, as I played this like absolute shit. GG's to that opponent. Even when you play poorly, just try and shake it off. That's what I'm going to look to do in the next battle. We see back-to-back steel types. This is definitely an opportunity for you to make some adjustments. Despite seeing a tricky lead, try and overcome it. We see Scizor in the lead. Again, I pause. The opponent also pauses, but they're still able to make a catch, catching onto big man Blastoise. However, I have got the higher attack, so I know that I can get off this next Hydro Cannon. Whilst this won't be lethal, it will put them into acid farm down range. As much as I love trash talking over battles, especially my own, I don't actually think that pause is my own fault. Because a lot of times, when you do pause, you don't see the game visually updated. I can see Scizor still on my screen, hence I threw the Hydro Cannon, but them catching that and me landing back to back isn't actually the worst spot. Cradily able to leave with residual energy. I pivot into Talonflame, and here comes Dusclops. We're still in the 2-shield scenario. I am going to start investing Protect Shields. Then we need to commit to good timing, so 1 Incinerate and the Flame Charge. Flame Charge will be buffing up my attack. And even if you go Flame Charge, as opposed to Triple Fly, it's still 3-2-2. So Flame Charge is definitely the move to throw there. I was now in two minds. Is Double Fly the way to go, or should I look to buff up myself again? And I'm actually going for the buff up, thinking, can I Incinerate farm this down? I'm definitely going to have to tank a move. However, the question now becomes, does the next Incinerate knock out? In Talonflame, I believe hopes and dreams sometimes win you battles. Double Flame Charge was the way to go. The opponent doesn't reach the next move. We leave with the Flame Charge, and we're back to winning ways. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see the annoying Marshmallow Wigglytuff in the lead position. The opponent remains on my screen, so I'm more than content to do what the opponent loves to do and fire off very annoying debuffs. The opponent tanked the damage, we then throw one and look to catch the Ice Wind onto Big Man Blastoise, where it's not only resisted, but also -1. My Blastoise save switch is answered by Giratina, and on this moveset, this is an awful matchup. Of course, we do have access to Ice Beam, not that we're running it, but the opponent, of course, does not know that. We farm up a boatload of energy and fire off the Hydro Cannon. We're at -1, so I highly doubt the opponent's shields. What do I know? The opponent actually give me a Protect Shield. Blastoise is doubled up and looks to throw back to back. Hydro Cannon doesn't do much of anything, but potentially puts him in a range where a Rock Tomb will actually knock out. I'm going to invest a Protect Shield here. I look to throw the Rock Tomb, landing onto Giratina. The opponent tried to sack the Marshmallow, catch attempt unsuccessful. We get a massive farm down. Giratina re-enters the arena, and the opponent kind of can't shield this. It will just outpace the next one. Rock Tomb moves them from the field of play. Out comes Dusknoir. Dusknoir also going to fall victim of the debuff treatment. Watching these back, fucking hell, I'm a degenerate. But it is what it is. Talonflame going to Incinerate farm down, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Marowak in the lead position. You better believe this is going to go exactly the same as the last battle. I'm full sending a Grass Knot and looking to nuke the opponent through 2 Protect Shields. The opponent throw the Bone Club, 1 Acid and the Grass Knot. Does the opponent respect the damage? Bang! There it is. Let's hope this time we don't get absolutely cooked. The opponent sends out Annihilate, and I smartly pivot out into Big Man Blastoise as opposed to concede a massive farm down. The opponent throw the Rage Fist, 1 Roller and the Hydro Cannon, maintaining disciplined fast move timing, and Rage Fist, Hydro Cannon I should say, forced the first protection of the game. Imagine if Blastoise had Rage Fist, man, that would be mad. Why does this always happen? Whenever I shoutcast or really long videos, I completely lose the plot and have no idea what I'm talking about. To be honest, I don't really have much idea of what I'm talking about, even at the best of times. The opponent sends out Cradily, Talonflame, gonna fire off the Flame Charge, able to land, and as they give me a huge energy lead, I'm more than content just to cook them to an absolute crisp. The opponent throws an awful time, and I can shield this up, leave, doubled up on flies, and you know the drill. The first one will be forcing the opponent's final protection, have no doubt. The second one is going to be all she wrote, with Talonflame pulling off yet another sweep. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle. Well, that is a yikes lead. Blastoise, go quickly! The opponent stays in, looking for some chip-it-up action. The non-stab drill run, not all that threatening. Blastoise able to tank that reasonably well. The opponent chipped me, then send out Corsola. Unfortunately, even the Shadow variant of Blastoise unable to two-shot in this matchup, so unfortunately the alignment will remain with my opponent, but Blastoise still going to put in work and potentially put this thing in a range where I can get a massive resisted acid farm down afterwards. Failing that, I could actually just bank a charge and then make the pivot into Talonflame after tanking 2 Nightshades. The opponent is going to reach 1 more before the acid farm down is possible. This isn't lethal, but will get me low, so I'm kind of going to have to pivot out in case the opponent gets any smart ideas of trying to snipe me down with a Powder Snow. The opponent pivots out into Sableye. In this battle of fast move pressure, there is only 1 Pokemon that will be emerging victorious. Talonflame, Invest Protect Shield, blocking up the foul play. Every time the opponent throws, we're sneaking turns, and that more than works for me. Talonflame able to fully Incinerate farm down Sableye. Corsola re-enters the arena. Talonflame Incinerate farms that down as well. We're at 100 energy. We're going to fire off the first Flame Charge. Flame Charge, of course, forces the first protection, 1 Incinerate and the Flame Charge, and this is certainly going to put them into Rock Tomb range. Flame Charge forced the protection right on cue. There's the combo play. Cradily is a Sandslash counter confirmed. You heard it here first, and we take that game. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's video. If you're new around here and you wonder, are all my uploads this crazy and this chaotic? Yes, they are. So if that's not your type of content, this isn't probably the channel for you. But I think this team's hella fun. A bit degenerate on Go Battle Weekend. If you can't beat them, you've got to join them. Cradily debuffs the shit out of everything. And failing that, Talonflame would just boost its way through the majority of things that aren't named Carbink or Bastiodon. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to a battles feature form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.